Hello, and welcome to another meeting of the Lotus Council. So what do we have today? Another deck. Sealed Brothers War Box, and again, I'm going to go from the Transformers because these are kind of fun. So we've got a Megatron as our commander. Red, white, and black. And of course, I did the wrong colors. So Megatron, more than meets the eye, not too less. So you may cast it for the more than meets the eye. Your opponents can't cast spells during combat. Not your combat, combat. So no combat tricks. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase, you may convert Megatron. If you do, add colorless for each one life your opponents have lost this turn. And on the back, living metal, which means as long as it's your turn, it's a creature. It's also a vehicle, so 4/5. Whenever Megatron attacks, you may sacrifice another artifact. When you do, Megatron deals damage equal to the sacrificed artifact's mana value to target creature. If excess damage would be dealt to that creature this way, instead that damage is dealt to the creature's controller and you convert Megatron. So you could basically ping things for their exact mana cast. So you might imagine we got a lot of artifacts in here. So Burnished Heart. Of course we have that. We've got an Ornithopter. We got Liberator, which is Urza's Battlethopter. Oh yeah, this does something really nice. So you may cast colorless spells and artifact spells as though they had flash. And if the mana that you're spending is greater than the power, you put a +1/+1 counter on this beefy thing. Oop. Accidentally had that in there. That's not part of it. Sorry about that. Okay, so we got a Siege Veteran, Autonomous Assembler, Felden, Ronin Excavator, Ashnod, Flesh Mechanist. Monastery Swiftspear, any deck that I run that has red is going to have Monastery Swiftspear. We got Lauren, Disciple of History, Baby Mishra, Excavation Prodigy, a Slicer Hired Muscle, a Kiki Coal Flinger. We got a Cranko, Tin Street Kingpin. We got a Flutterfox. As long as you control an artifact or an enchantment, it has flying. So for 2/2, a flyer, not bad. Then we got a Ratchet, because we're going to ratchet it up. We got a Prowl, Stoic Strategist. And then we got the Tron creatures, or the Tron workers, I guess would be the best way to put it. So this pumps, but if you have the other two, it's +1/+1 counters instead. This is add a colorless mana, but if you have the other two, it's 3 colorless mana, and this is gain a life, or if you have the other two, you gain 3 life. Really nice callback to the Tron lands. We got a Hero of the Dunes, Junkyard Genius, Goring Warplow, a Phalagi Dragon Engine, Thopter Architect, Combat Thresher, Dwarven Forge Chanter. This is going to be a really fun one in Pauper. It has Ward, pay 2 life. And Prowess. I love me some Prowess. And that Ward on there of 2 paying 2 life. In the type of deck that you're going to run this in, which is going to be a Prowess aggro deck, that is expensive. Okay, we got a Recruitment Officer and Blitz Automaton. And then we got some of the utility artifacts. So Soul Guide Lantern, this is nice because exile a card from a graveyard, but then you can sack it to exile each opponent's graveyard. Or you can sacrifice it to draw a card. Painful Quandary. If you've heard me talk about this before, I would pick up copies of this one. I mean, it's not necessarily going to be a financial investment, but it's great to run in your decks. It has nothing to do with financial value. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, that player loses 5 life unless they discard a card. Storm players, this is going to be devastating to them. Yes, in Commander, you have 40 life versus 20 life. But if you think about the number of spells that people are playing on their turns, this is a great one. And there's not as much enchantment removal that people run. So they may not be able to interact with it. I would play this card if you can, if you have the colors. Okay, disenchant. This is one of the few interactions. So, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Pyretic Blast. Corrupt. Dreams of Steel and Oil. Gix's Caress. This is one of my favorite commons from the set. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it, and you create a Power Stone token. So you're denying resources to your opponent and gaining resources yourself. Yes, the Power Stones can only be used to cast a non-artifact, or can't be spent to cast an artifact spell. You can use them to pay for abilities or to cast artifacts. And if you're sacrificing artifacts, it's going to be a thing. Okay, so Raise to the Ground. Can't be countered. Destroy target artifact. If it was mana value is 1 or less, draw a card. In Commander, are there any artifacts that you might want to destroy that are 1 or less? You know, the Mana Crypts, Mana Bolt, Soul Rings. Soul Ring. Doing that to somebody. Yeah, we're going there. Jeweled Lotus. Yeah, we're going there. Calamity's Wake. Exile all graveyards. Players can't cast non-creature spells this turn. You do have to exile this, but exile all graveyards. They cannot cast non-creature spells. Get rid of those instant speed board wipes. Okay, then we got things like Swift Boots, because we don't want things dealing with our Megatron. We got Sigil of Valor. Black Blade Reforged. I love this card. Dredging Claws, Mystic Forge. This is a fun one, so you may look at the top card of your library at any time. And you may cast artifact spells and colorless spells from the top of your library. You can pay 1 life to exile the top card of your library to tap it. So basically, you're able to play things from the top of your library that are artifact or colorless. Mishra's Bauble. Icor Wellspring, Howling Mine. I am so glad that there's reprints of this all over the place. I love this card. Symmetry Matrix. Whenever a creature with power equals to its toughness enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1. If you do, draw a card. Decent, but it's also a 4 CMC card, so you can sacrifice something 4 or less. Union of the Third Path. Draw a card and then gain life equal to the number of cards in your hand. No One Left Behind. Yeah, get something back. It has a cost reduction if it's going with something mana value 3 or less. Yeah, going from graveyard to the battlefield for 2 is not a bad thing. Then we got Staff of Dominion. Yeah, this is the fun one. We got Thran Vigil. Whenever 1 or more artifact or creature cards leave your graveyard during your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Oh, No One Left Behind. Then we've got Draconic Destiny. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1, has flying haste, and 1. This creature gets +1/+0 till end of turn. It's a dragon in addition to its other types. When enchanted creature dies, this goes back to your hand. Oh, yeah, we making dragons. Are we going to make Megatron into a dragon? I think we might be making Megatron into a dragon. Okay, Mishra's Domination, Pumping, Moment of Defiance, Lauren's Escape. So there's been the series of 1-drops to give target creature hexproof and or indestructible down end of turn. It might give it +1/+1, might give it a +1/+1 counter. Those have been in green. Then we got 1 in blue. Now we're getting 1 in white. And this also includes artifacts. So if they're trying to get rid of your artifact, not so much. And you get a scry. Then we got Ashnod's Intervention. I love this one because it's +2/+0. And when it dies, put it or is exiled, return it to its owner's hand. So it doesn't bring it back to the battlefield, but it does have that exile clause, and it's a little bit more. All right, Springleaf Drum, Inspiring Statuary. I love this one. Non-artifact spells you cast have improvise. Well, this is an artifact. That's unfortunate. But you know what? I have plenty of non-artifacts in there. So we got Pristine Talisman, Chromatic Lantern, Chromatic Star, Foundry Inspector, which will help with Megatron, and then the Might Stone and the Weak Stone. Okay, so you add 2. It can't be spent to cast non-artifact spells, but guess who's an artifact? Yep. And when it enters the battlefield, you get to choose 2. Of course, if we were doing the blue-white, it would be part of Urza, but it's not. It's just the face. We got Transmograph and Alter. Sacrifice a creature to add 3. Or to make a 3/3 colorless zombie artifact creature token. Then we got Demolition Field, Takashi's Dig Site, Evolving Wild. Of course, our basics, Battlefield Forge, Mishra's Factory, and Urza's Workshop. This would be cool if we had the Tron lands in the set. We don't have the Tron lands in the set. They didn't reprint them. But if I were to make this into a regular deck, I would definitely include this. This is from the Urza Commander deck, and it, of course, does not have the old border, which some people like. So, anyway, that's the deck tech for today. Megatron doing kind of evilish things. It's okay. It's okay. And with that, that's our video for today. So if you're on the lookout for cards, go check out our friends over at Geekified. You can find them at geekifiediowa.com. And if you want to know when we're going to do the next video, go ahead and subscribe, hit that bell notification, and join us in the Discord, which you should be doing because we do fun stuff in there. Giveaways, games, geeky talk. We're a bunch of nerds. So, well, with that, that's everything we have, and our meeting is now adjourned, but we hope you have a fantastic day.